Right, well, it was not my original intention to have this as a cruelty to animals stream, but I've got to kick Luna off my lap again. I know you want some fuss this morning. She's a lovely kitty, but like, she does like a little bit of fuss. We get some music going, and I've got to test the eBay parts that I've had coming in. I'm going to swap over to the other camera. I've got on a nice extendable arm. Unfortunately, I do need to. I'm going to put a desk over here in the front bay area. I've got a big desk. It's slightly broken anyway. The back plane is like damaged, and that's an essential part of the support. And it definitely wouldn't fit in there. I'm going to put some wheels on the bottom of it and trim the back corners off so that it does actually fit, and possibly trim like the back 20 centimeters off the actual desk, because it would definitely fit, but it would kind of push over the windowsill if I didn't do that, and that just means it'll just be causing a permanent dent in the curtains from the outside and might look weird. So anyway, aside from that future plan, the idea is that if I trim the bottom back bit of the desk, which is part of the support, then I can move the legs in, and that'll allow it to recess back into there instead of having the legs at the outer edges, and it should still be pretty stable, mostly for a work area. But at the moment my work area is off to the other side and somewhat limited, and that means it's not going to go super great for being close to the mic at the same time. Cable for now. Let's stretch that mic as far as I can. Right, so I'm not actually particularly planning on working on this system so much. I've just got a black power supply, and the other motherboard that I've currently got in the system is slightly better than this one. So this is a black 500 watt power supply, and I have a silver 450 watt. I'm going to put the 450 watt in this one because this board is only PCI 2. Also, it's a silver case with a black power supply in it, and the other one's a black case, and I don't want to put the silver power supply in that one. So it's a slightly better board. It's going to be like similar system. They're both 4th gen. Hey, if I'm hoping to start like building PCs, I do want to be able to do budget options. This seems like, I mean, it's currently like the best price. I'm not 100% sure if it's the best value, because although they can kind of like keep up currently, that's like only if you max them out. So, you know, this thing's going to be capped out at 16 gigs of RAM. It's an i7 4790, and this one's going to get an S variant, which is not much different. Theoretically, the specs are pretty similar. Theoretically, the S is the low power option. From what I've seen, people have tested that, and it just kind of trades blows, but nothing really beyond run-to-run variants. But it's definitely a bit slower. Very dubious as to whether it actually takes up any less power. That's kind of stupid. Ow! Rib crack! Dropped a screw, bent over. Okay. Yeah, this case appears to... Well, I've got all the PSU screws out. It's just not quite letting me. Appears to have some form of little, like, latching thing, which it won't actually let me press in, which I'm assuming is because the other side panel is still on. Never had to take off both side panels to be able to remove the PSU before, but I suppose maybe it's a nice, you know, it's a nice feature. I mean, it's a pain in the ass, but still doesn't want to do it. No more darkness, no more light, and as mercy we take flight. Okay, that's a part of it. Got a little rubberized bumper in there as well. Out of the ashes into the flame, a future built on his name. Son of a... 4-pin motherboard power was also clipped into the CPU fan. That's really overexposed, but I don't know if there's anything I can really do about that. Try turning off the desk lamp and using... That's frustrating. I don't know, this little USB lamp with a built-in battery. It's kind of handy. Normally I use it for my face light. Now I got 128 gig SSD in there, which is like, I fully intend to have it as options. I don't have the SSD stock yet. Where's that stuff? There it is. Okay. Superpower. I've gone astray, but in your love I'll find my way. I'm not a saint, just trying to be the man you called me here. Yeah, this was like an ultimate budget 128 gig SSD. Spoke to like my town, city. Technically we're a city, but like because we've got a cathedral, not because we've got enough people. I was speaking to our local hardware guys, see, it's like, you know, said what I wanted to do. Seemed to have a lot of like spare parts in some areas, so I wanted to, yeah, like I grabbed a keyboard and mouse off him. You know, just like some bog standard super budget options. Someone wants a keyboard and mouse, well, I can get one from a local supplier, reusing second-hand parts, $2.99, well, £5 for a pair, £2 for a mouse, optical, USB, scroll wheel, no forward and back buttons, and £3 for a keyboard. In this case it was like a Microsoft USB keyboard with some basic media controls. Nothing fancy, but not terrible. Now I already know this system is like working for what's in here, but what's in here isn't great. But I might end up having to bring this back. I'm not going to hook the power supply up to it yet because I'm not really going to be using it yet. For now, I will leave the side off. Now there is an interesting thing with this case. This was I got this system, well, not the current system as it stands, because I stole the motherboard out of it. Anyway, this case that it came with had a real interesting problem. You can see that top slot there. Well, that's obviously the one where the graphics card goes, and that's I'm gonna have to like respray it. I have like filed and ground it down so it's a smooth edge and it's not just going to like jaggedly cut you. But this case, such a cheap case, it came with like this little roll of metal there. So rather than like cut the slot properly, they just like rolled the metal up at the top. I don't know if it was meant to be like a visual treat or something. It didn't look especially great. But the biggest problem with it was that it physically blocked all graphics card ports. You couldn't put a graphics card in there and plug anything into it, unless your graphics card had a VGA cable. VGA was the only thing that it would go in there. But anyway, yeah, so this has now got a gigabyte board in it. You see, this case is all black metal, so I think it'll go better with the all black power supply. And I've got another black power supply which will be coming out of my case. Neither of these have 6+2 PCIe power on them. I do have some adapters because like I ran it on my own system for a bit and then got it for someone else's, but then eventually their like 500 watt PSU just died anyway. I don't think that was because of the adapter, but yeah, so my only experience with adapters is I used them briefly to power my own system, but I ordered one, so that didn't actually. Oh, I think I've got some. Yeah, I believe I have some. I do. I have black case screws. Let's upgrade to those. We're putting a black power supply in a black case. We may as well use black screws, eh? Put the silver one in the silver screw drawer. It's a flood that never tries, washing over me, tearing down the lies. I am reborn in the light of your face, echoes of mercy, echoing grace. Echoes of mercy forever will resound, lifting me up from the deepest ground. Unfortunately, this motherboard, I got it for about 15 quid. I'm gonna have to like price everything up into some spreadsheets at some point. I can't actually start selling systems yet anyway because I'm on ESA, and so if I were to earn more than 20 quid a week they would just sort of like take it directly off me. And I have an appointment today to provide identity for Universal Credit. I'm looking to swap over. I have a mental health diagnosis, which I disagree with. But yeah, I definitely have a mental disability, which is that I have a mental diagnosis, and people are in fact kind of judgmental. You know, the doctor insists that it doesn't have to affect you, you just shouldn't tell people about it. But then that actually brings up an interesting point, which is that if you were to get hired by a company and you didn't disclose that you had a mental health disability, then they could immediately fire you for that. But if you get hired by a company and you do have a mental health disability, and if it's something like bipolar, which just basically means that, you know, you could get really angry, violent, shout at people, maybe beat your boss, but that would be part of your mental health thing, so they couldn't fire you for it. So with something generic like bipolar, which is just slapped on as a you've got a problem that we can't really be bothered to look into, which I disagree with still, because like, you know, 2013, and I was like, well, the economy's like going to be like in serious trouble within the next 10 years, but that was just my imagination, because according to the doctor, the economy was great. I was worried about my kids at my ex-wife's, and like, you know, so she's a wonderful person. It's like, you've not met her, you shouldn't just make that as a blanket statement. And I'm still hi, I'm Nick. I'm manic though, according to the doctor. I don't think I'm manic. I think I'm a man called Nick. I think I was right about the economy. I think 2 of my children getting sexually abused while under their mother's care means that I was right about that too. I think my work were trying to get rid of me. I think the settlement agreement proved that they were trying to get rid of me. So everything that I predicted that he said was insane because you can't tell the future, it's like, well, you can get a general idea of how things are going. And I'm like working in doing integrated accounting for like motor industry as well as I've done it for other industries. And so since I've done loads of like accounting and I'm looking at a broad scope of thousands and thousands of companies at a time, for writing software that can deal with their accounts, I tell you, you know, software is going to make a huge difference to like tax economy and stuff, because there's loopholes in there, and like as soon as one company wants it in the software and we add it, all the companies get it, and then they're legally not paying tax that they were previously paying because they weren't aware of the thing, and like, it's ridiculous. It's like, it's a stupid system, it doesn't work. And so I told them what I wanted to do. It's like, if we just do this and make it transparent and honest as a requirement, it doesn't have to be like a requirement to like do it, but you know, if you do it and introduce some transparency, then you'll be able to tell where things are going wrong and things will become more trustworthy. And that would completely like upgrade the economy to work. And he's like, you want to destroy the economy? It's like, wait, I mean, upgrading the economy into a working system since it's currently broken and subject to abuse, I don't consider to be breaking the economy. Since you like the current economy so much, sure, Doc, it would break the economy, but it would be replacing it with a system that works instead of something which is just based on lies and trickery. Whatever. Yeah, I'm crazy and dangerous and need to be locked up, apparently. I want to make the world a better place. And it's like, well, what are you going to get out of it? Whoa, I'd get to live there. That's enough for me. I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. Nicholas, God is something you just created with your subconscious. Oh, ho, whoa. That's a heavy one you're hitting me with there, Doc. Anyway, I can put these PSUs in. Need to test it. Like, this isn't really a wise way to test, because I know the PSU is good. I've used that before, but I have, like, it's a new board. I haven't used the board. I've been looking for, I know I had 2 spare PC speakers, but I can't find them currently. So I'm going to be testing without features, not wise, on a board that I've not used before, with a CPU that I've not used before, and memory that I've not used before, and it's very unlikely to work straight off the bat. I mean, fingers crossed. If God's in a particularly good mood with me, maybe it will. But yeah, Doctor accused me of thinking I was Jesus because I want to make the world a better place. And it's like, I'm not talking about single-handedly fixing the thing. Yeah, you know, maybe if I could get some influence out there, then perhaps I could be the instigator that started a world change. I don't want it to be a revolution, you know. I'd like us to do like a sensible upgrade, you know. Let's make some sensible improvements and incrementally get ourselves to a working, stable situation where we're like not constantly listening to lies and bullshit. But you know, that hasn't really been popular. Oh, this board takes all 8. Oh, that's a potential issue because this PSU doesn't provide 8. Neither does the other one. Maybe I better upgrade my gaming PC. I just got my my 850 watt PSU, so I'm pretty sure my 700 watt one that I'm currently having has the 2 motherboard 4 pins. Yeah, so I got this puppy. Because we have a 6+2 connector there, and a 6+2 connector there, and I got a Vega 56 on the way. Amazon's quicker delivery than eBay, so when I got the Vega 56 coming in, I was like, oh, okay, I mean, I could run it with an adapter, but since I'm going to be selling systems and I'm pretty much exclusively looking for systems, looking for graphics cards that are only going to take one, I was like, well, I can reuse my old power supply for one of those. Vega 56 is very power hungry, which doesn't encourage me loads. Let me swap back to this camera and dig out my gaming PC. I've got I've got a new board for that anyway, so this is like a bit of a treasure of a board. I only became aware, someone was selling their Lenovo gaming PC, and I was like, whoa, hang on a minute, it was a Lenovo Idea Center. I was like, okay, so they kind of made these for gaming a bit, and I actually really appreciate that, because it's the first manufacturer pre-built. I mean, most of them aren't built for gaming, and indeed most of the Lenovos aren't either. Now obviously it's not actually related to it, you've got a tough gaming socket cover on there. It's not actually related. We've got a built-in mini PCIe, well, not built, we've got a PCIe slot, a mini PCIe slot with a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth card in it, which should be interesting. And then the guy had it in good condition, but this isn't really a 4th gen budget system, because it's got the 4 DIMM slots, which is nice. It's got PCIe 3, it's got 4 SATA and an eSATA, and because I've put my system in one of my old favorite cases that has a massive 12-inch fan built into the side panel. It's like an old iQute case, but I actually, when my computer died, I was just in CEX looking at DVDs and stuff, and I saw that they had a 230-pound computer, and this was back in, I don't know, 2010-ish, and it was dual core Radeon graphics, 500 gigabyte hard drive, and I took it home, and yeah, it was dual core 2.5. I think it's an Athlon X2, 2.5 gigahertz on an AM3 plus. No, AM2 plus, and it had 4 or 8 gigs of memory. I might have upgraded that. It only had a 320 gigabyte hard drive, and it's they lied. It said it was a 500 gigabyte hard drive, but it's okay, but it has a Radeon HD 4870 with 2 gigabytes of GDDR5, which in fact, it's not a great card, but back then, it was actually, CX themselves, they obviously just haven't looked into this PC properly, because they sell this card for £140 on its own, and they've just sold me the PC for $230. Therefore, I'm not going to take it back and return it on a complaint that the hard drive is 180 gigs smaller than they said it was, because the graphics card was unspecified and in fact considerably more valuable. Like, I could almost just take the card out and sell it back to them and recoup a decent chunk of the cost of the system. But yeah, like, so 4 DIMMs means that this can go up to 32 gigabytes of memory on 4th gen, which is kinda rare. Combine that with PCI Express 3. We are missing some things which would potentially be nice to have, but I mean, like, to be honest, no, because like, I've got another board and I spotted that it had a TPM module header, so a lot of boards have like the ability to put a little thing on, and I looked it up and like, sure, you can, like, it's only about £2 for a TPM2 jumper thing. It's like, it just fits into the jumper as you plug it into the TPM2 header, and then you can have TPM2. And you're like, well, then I'd be supported by, no, you wouldn't be supported by Windows, because the 4th gen processors aren't. So like, you could put the trusted platform module on, but Windows would still complain about you because they're just not going to add support for those CPUs. Why? Because it doesn't encourage you having to spend lots of money. The more they can keep you spending lots of money, the more money you're likely to spend with them. Why would they, like, I mean, well, see, I don't tend to give them a lot of money because they don't do a lot of stuff for me. Most of what they're doing is to encourage people to spend more money and buy new stuff. And, like, my old stuff worked great, thanks. So, if you could, like, it doesn't need any support, you know, you've done the work for it, it all works fine, it's great, you don't have to do anything. You could just, like, not tell me to throw it away. I'd appreciate it, because I'm not going to. If you make me go to Linux, then it's a bit slower. Test it. I've tested it. You know, I'm on low budget systems, so that I'm running it in Linux, it's 10% slower. That's a big difference for me. You know, that's like under 30 frames per second versus over 30 frames per second. Not that, you know, not that that's the actual issue. It tend to be around 60, but I'm only running 60 hertz displays because, like, good enough. I'm sure I would notice a difference. You know, I like having quick reaction times and stuff, but I don't really play things competitively. I used to do a lot of Counter-Strike, but for some reason, like, Counter-Strike Go wasn't just like, it would run, but as soon as I tried to run an actual game, it would just black screen. It was on an RX 484 gigabyte. Anyway. You know what? I'm not going to immediately crack out my gaming system. I know the other system works, so I'm going to go to back to that one. Because I've got like 6 RAM sticks to test. What I should do, though, is plug the case in. I'm leaving it off for now, but that'll ground it. That's going to annoy me sooner rather than later. Let me grab my scissors. I like cable ties. They're like, I appreciate the effort that someone actually cable ties and stuff, but it was kind of restrictive. probably, I'm going to put that there for now. Like, you've got to take this whole bracket out to mount something on it. I'm not going to, but if I'm going to keep this cheap 120 gig SSD, it's not going to go there. I think that there's a good chance that it would be better on the inside anyway. It won't be as visible, but now if I get, like, you know, a king spec for, like, that's some ones that I've got coming in. So if they order a 256 or a 1 terabyte, then they'll get a king spec, and the Lionhead logo looks kind of nice on that, so that one might be appropriate. But I still not super happy. I'd rather have the air gap and the SSD on the other side rather than between the side panel, because as much as it should be pretty secure, theoretically it could get crushed. You know, if they dropped it on a narrow point, like if there was a screwdriver stuck in the floor of the van and they dropped the case, it could apply a lot of pressure and it would crush the SSD between this bracing plate and the outer case, and that would suck. Plus, you know, you've got these cables potentially getting like a little compressed there. I think it should go on the other side. So I won't leave it there long term. And then we've got the other interesting factor that this power supply only has one cable with SATA on it, which means that it won't also reach the SATA DVD drive. But I have got like 3 Molex to SATA adapters, so I'll go with one of those. Not that it even needs to be connected right now.
Falls down, you are still around. Every time I cry, you wipe my tears dry. In the dark of night, you become my light. Through the heavy rain, you take away the pain.
I hate Molex. Such a pain because they're not secure. So I use an adapter to demonstrate. You get this on both ends. The cables are all just like connected directly to the pins, so they all wiggle about. You can see that if I just like wiggle as I apply pressure, the cables, like the pins on the other end, they all wiggle and they all point in different directions. And the other side is not like fixed holes either. They are in fact just almost the same but an open circle. The free one's a little bit loose in there and I just got that one in, so I'm not unplugging it. But it's just a massive pain to try and get them aligned and plugged in. You've got to try and actually like hold onto the cables and pull them so that they lock them all into straight positions, and then hopefully they all go together. But if they don't go together, then you've got to do like a little wiggle and then pull it out and see how they're aligning and try and align them straight, and then hope that they stay in that alignment while you... Oh, it's just so annoying. Okay, I do not need to test this 4 gigs of low profile. That can go with my other 4 gig DDR4s. Right. So these all need testing. And these need testing. And these all work. So I now have 6 4 gig DIMMs. They do have a potential use. If I get another currently none of my random boards The only board that I've got with 4 DIMM sockets is, well, I suppose technically 2, but one of them's dead. I've got a Dell 9020, that takes 4 DIMMs, but that's dead. And I've got the Lenovo C1 blah 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 part number, not like a, you know, not a proper motherboard code, because it's meant to be in a K450E. So it's a Lenovo K450E motherboard, which, like, there was one on eBay. It was a full K450E with like a GeForce 1066 gigabyte, or it might have been a TI even, and a 4790K, and, like, you know, the case looked alright, and it's just I valued it as like, okay, so the parts are all going to come to this sort of value. I have just made enough money from selling my old Warhammer and Star Wars stuff. I'll bid on it up to that price, and it went over. It's like, it makes sense. It should go over. You know, apart from the fact that it had a 256 gig SSD. Yeah, it was basically a ready-to-go gaming system that wasn't being sold as such. It was like, yeah, used gaming system. Someone was getting rid of their old system, so it probably went for better than if someone was trying to resell it. But for the parts that were in it, I decided that it wasn't necessarily worth the premium. I mean, there was a premium, but I was willing to pay the premium to a degree for the 4790K. The power supply, that had some value. It had PCIe Express connectors. The SSD had value. The board had value. I was like, okay, I'm willing to pay these parts. I'm like, plus a bit over the absolute base, but still, it went over that. And it's like, fair enough, someone's getting that system. But I used that listing, and I was like, oh, actually, this is quite a nice board, and it's a pre-built board that actually supports a straight-up 24-pin standard power supply. Awesome. So I searched for the actual board part number off of that board, and I found one. Still wasn't super cheap. It was like 40 quid, which for an LJ 1150 board is, I think, you know, I made the guy an offer, but the offer was basically just, I'll give you 40. He was asking $39.95, and I was like, but I had to pay the postage as well, so I offered him the right amount that would get it for me for 40 quid. Postage included, and it was like, I do think it's like the right price, and I'll probably get it anyway, but worth asking if you'll pay the postage just to shift it, because I could see that, you know, it was a buy it now. It had like 2 weeks left on it, which means that it had already been up for like just over 2 weeks. It's like, well, okay, so it's not selling. Looks like he mostly sells motherboards. Let me see if he's willing to, like, you know, just give me I can't remember, about 4 quid off. I think it was $4.99 postage, so, but I can't quite remember. It might have been $3.99. Anyway, oh, but of course this board, I have ordered one because I know that it'll be handy. Like, a lot of the integrated graphics on the boards only have, the reason I wanted to use the other system, which I just found out that I can't, is because that Gigabyte board has DVI and HDMI, whereas this Asus board has DVI and VGA, and I just didn't want to unplug the VGA cable from the back of my system and move it. So I just did all my cables yesterday and everything, but oh well, we got to do it.
High and my heart in line. I'm walking with the Lord, leave the dark behind. Shaking off the past.
hello. I'm sorry. My monitor is not in great view. If you're still there, I apologize for missing you. 51 FF3R. I think you're a Swiffer, maybe. I'm pretty sure that's a cleaning tool. So, oh, hang on. No point in doing an 07 salute if I don't actually do it. It's like, oh, hey, I'm on the wrong camera. You can't see me. Actually, for the moment, I should do this. How badly tangled is this VGA cable? Freedom! Oh, a viewer. This is kind of like mostly format testing. I've just rearranged the desk and got like the extension arm that lets me put the old phone that I'm using as a droid cam over the build space. Yeah, I'm hoping should be building some systems. Got like enough to do 3, I think, aside from my own. But I can't quite start trading yet because I'm on ESA in the UK, and if I earn anything more than 20 quid a week, then it'll just go straight to the government, so it seems a bit pointless. So I've got my universal credit like ID thing. I sold Star Wars stuff and Warhammer stuff that I had lying around. That's got me enough to hopefully start my own business. But I don't know if the PCs will sell, so it's like, oh, I've invested in it, we'll give it a try. If I can sell them for a profit, then maybe I can get some money again. The doctor can stop. Well, the doctor's not going to stop saying I'm insane. But you're manic, so no, I'm just a man called Nick. It's like subconscious for you, Doc. You can't seem to get rid of it. Okay, RAM. I probably just don't want to do one stick at a time. Oh, power supply for monitor. I used to drown in the noise, lost in the haze, chasing hollow highs, but it's a brand new day. But it pulled me out of the night. Now I'm walking in the glory, I'm walking in the light. Oh, I won't go back, no, I won't go back to the darkness that tried to hold me back. I'm living for the truth, never. Oh, what do you think of the Christian rock? Like non-copyright AI related, but I'm quite liking it. That is a potential concern. Like, I want to listen to music that I like, but I don't want to like annoy people. Right. Keyboard and mouse. Screen's on. Not connected. I'm gonna swap to the other screen camera. I probably don't really need the mouse, just look at the BIOS. But some of us will support it, can be handy. Our budget second-hand £2 mouse. And our budget second-hand £3 keyboard. I've got some other options. No more fear, no more shame. I'm walking with Jesus. I'm calling his name. I'm high on his love. I'm on a natural high. I've got an AliExpress RGB mouse to test. I don't mind some K-pop. I got a nice deal on some Trust gaming mice. Someone was like eBaying off like a bundle of 5 new ones, and like I got it for the minimum bid price. So they were like £2.50. That comes at about £3.20, and it's got like a soft mute effect. So the left and right mouse buttons are non-clicky. Well, if you were after a completely mute mouse, though, then the middle scroll wheel and the forward and back ones have full fat clicks. So not fully mute. Or for like £3.20. Somewhere around there. And I did also pick up like a Klim Chroma RGB. It's interesting, you know, it's hard to find decent copyright free music in the first place. And if you're limiting that by also looking for stuff that matches your religion, then that's going to be a huge issue. I didn't know where the actual power switch was on this case. It's actually like built into the silver strip on the front. Hey, we've got boot, so that ram stick should be good. Yeah, that one's good. I don't know. I have... Oh, maybe I can get the angle right and get the screen on it as well. I get the light out of the way at all. Anyway, that's one good ram stick. I'm an eBay. And they're like, review your items, give feedback. So I gotta check if they work first. Give me a minute. It's only been like 2 days, but yeah, I ended up with a stack. And then like that last one I only didn't really need it. Oh yeah, it's not a great board. Asus H81M-E. It's just like micro ATX, I think. So not full-size ATX. Sort of the most common size. You can get smaller. DDR3. Yeah, it's old, but like if I'm going to try and start selling budget systems, they can cope. It's what I've been running as a main system. So this will be limited to like 16 gigs of RAM max, but like the cost for the case with the power supply, no hard drive, DVD drive, motherboard, it came with a really rubbish CPU, but it was £32 and then plus postage. So including postage, it was like £35. And then I have spent another 20 on an upgraded CPU, so it will be a quad-core 8-thread with a 4 GHz turbo. And then I'll offer options, you know, with 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM, which, like, performance-wise, I've not had an issue with running on DDR3. Sure, it's not optimal, you're not going to benchmark as fast, but if I'm getting 60 FPS in all the games I'm playing, which is Elite Dangerous, probably don't get 60 FPS in GTA 5, but I'm not really actively playing that very often. Yeah, I am going to be trying Windows 11 upgrades soon. If you want to do it on unsupported hardware, then you have to burn, well, not burn, but, you know, you have to use like Rufus to make the USB so that it bypasses that check. I haven't tested it yet, but it should work fine. Yeah, let's see if this one goes.
Silent cries, unseen scars in his arms.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like it for gaming. So I want to try and present some interesting options. I want to do it so that you can use like eBay drop-down lists. Cool. Also working, 1600 megahertz. Fantastic. Just what I ordered. So those were both budget, because one of them is like low profile and looks rubbish, and the other one was actually listed as a sodium, but blatantly wasn't a sodium. So it's like, I don't think people are going to bid on these. So I think I got those two 8 gig RAM sticks for like £3 or £4 each. So 6600K. That's the next gen. That's a socket LGA1151, if I remember rightly. Because I've got a 6600T in my mini PC, which is what I'm using right now. Actually, let me just see if I can. I pop the other camera up. Might be slightly more interesting if I rearrange OBS. What? Where's... Oh, did I had chat there, but it was behind. We try and do a dual cam view. Yeah, I don't know if that's better or not. Well, I mean, it's stupid, isn't it? Because like Microsoft don't freaking support your hardware anyway. So it doesn't matter. You can have a perfectly new system and it's not going to be supported. Not by Microsoft. Why would they support your processor? They won't. They're just warning you that the hardware company won't either. Get sources. Put the webcam on top. I think I'll set it to blending mode. Add. I don't know. Something. Give it a try. Oh, I've got the bargain DDR3 works. And then I think that these two DDR chips, which are actually in cases, I'm pretty sure these are the ones that I tried ordering off AliExpress. It takes a while to get there, but they were better than the average price. So you might be able to get an eBay bargain for better, but these were like about £6.50 each or something. And most of the time the eBay 8 gig DDR3 sticks like are about 9 to 12 with postage. It's nice to hear that it worked, because I need to try it at some point. In prepping for making systems, I burned a Windows 10 USB stick, because I kind of want to try that with this system. Like before I change the CPU out, if I put Windows 10 on it, because it didn't come with a hard drive, but if it's been previously installed, if it's been previously registered with an OEM version of Windows, then if I go to activate it, so for something that it's already OEM licensed for, theoretically Windows or Microsoft will recognize the motherboard and CPU combination details and like should be able to activate Windows 10. And if I can activate Windows 10 on it for free, then great, because I can then just upgrade it to 11. If not, then I'll have to spend like £2.50 on trying one of those Windows 11 or Windows 10 keys that you can get from those grey market sites. I'll be trying that at some point anyway, because I need to get myself a testing license, I think. And keep hold of a 500 gig SSD with some games and an operating system on it, so that I can just run benchmarks on a system that I've built. Anyway, let's get these two RAM techs tested. Yarp, all good so far. Yeah, like I know, obviously, no one's like actually. That's the interesting thing with the AliExpress parts, because it's like they're Tecmo. It's Tecmo RAM. It's like it's new Tecmo RAM. Yeah. According to the BIOS, it's Samsung. We knew it wasn't new, and we knew Tecmo weren't making RAM. So those are probably the RAM sticks that are going to stay in this system. That's good that all the RAM's working so far there. And I got another decent deal on these two, because random brand, these were actually off eBay. They are Rasselas memory. I think they might have been listed as actually, I don't know. I think they were meant to be high speed. I think they actually had their CL rating or clock, whatever. But you know, like there's only actually a few memory manufacturers around the world, so it doesn't really matter if you're getting some stupid off-brand. It's still either made by like Micron or Samsung, basically, isn't it? 2 or 3 different places that actually make memory. So if it's a Rasselas DDR3 1600 MHz RAM with heat sinks on, then it's worth like at least normal RAM price plus heat sinks. But it went for like £5 each because it was Rasselas. It's like, who cares? They didn't make it. They just put a sticker on it. Yeah, this is Hynix Semiconductor. Both of them working. All of my RAM works fantastic. Good to know. What else have I got to test? Oh, I got some more complicated tests to do. This is going to be a more complicated test. It's probably a keeper. It's an Oculus DK2. I was watching it at 30 quid, thinking it's probably worth it. The guy put an offer out for 25, and I thought, oh, okay, yeah, that's definitely worth it. You know, my 32-inch TV that I'm using as my main gaming monitor is that was 120. Why would I not pay 25 quid for an even bigger screen that also supports head tracking? Oh, that's cool. I also, I then was trying to keep an eye. I thought, you know, this is something that I would actually quite like to potentially bundle with a budget system. If it's like, okay, look, this is a budget system, but it'll run things great, especially if you've got like an existing screen. But then I've also ordered like a 14-inch portable 1080p 60Hz monitor to give it as a try with a touchscreen, because I'd actually potentially quite like that to sit below my main monitor as an additional screen. But yeah, I've got an Oculus CV1 in the other room. So testing those is probably going to be the biggest hassle, because that's actually going to have to be like install all the Oculus stuff and hook it up to the system, and then test it and make sure it works. And the DK2 I want to keep for myself, because like I pretty much only want it for Elite Dangerous. The CV1, I mean, that's got the touch controllers and the sensors and could do like some more room tracking, and that could be fun. Not really. No, I had a brief little go at like the ultimate budget version of Elite VR, because with Elite you can just straight up say go stereoscopic 3D and it'll put that out on your monitor. So obviously I strapped my phone to my face and used Steam Link to put stereoscopic SBS 3D through the Steam Link onto my face, and it kind of almost worked, but it was not great. It didn't really do, because it wasn't really prepared for the Fresnel lenses. It had some bad overlap. But I had to try and pair it with like some AI camera face tracking, and the head tracking for like looking around in the cockpit. It worked really well as a just general test for using with the monitor. But then trying to do it with like in combination with the not actually a terribly great view through the Steam Link phone VR that's not VR but is a stereoscopic side-by-side image. The problem is that the AI face tracking recognizes human faces, and as soon as you stick a phone VR headset on your face, it doesn't track you. So it's like, okay, so I can look side to side, the stereoscopic thing's there, the stereoscopic view looks okay, let's try it out. And you put your phone VR headset on, and your Steam Link is going with minimal latency over your 5G Wi-Fi, but you've now covered your eyes, and the AI doesn't really track your face properly through the camera anymore because you've got no eyes. And so as soon as you do that with face tracking, or with the AI camera-based face tracking, which seems to have been working well, you just stick the VR headset over your face, and then all of a sudden your viewpoint is it's just twitching rapidly from side to side and changing direction. And if you try and look somewhere, it's like you're absolutely it's like you've just been hit by a taser, and you really can't fly your ship while you're connected to the mains or have the visual perspective of a character who is. It didn't work. That was what made me start looking at a DK2 or a budget system. Yeah, it was good enough to make me want to try it properly. So it's nice to hear that the Quest 2 works, because like it would be nice to potentially the DK2 for Elite should be enough for me, but there would be an advantage to keeping like a full-on Quest 1, which was that I had heard, I need to try it, well, I had heard that, not the Quest 1, sorry, the CV 1, so the just regular Rift. The advantage for keeping the regular Rift would potentially be the ability to buy non-tested or non-working listings off eBay, which go for considerably less. But if I then had a full working set, I could identify exactly which part wasn't working. So if it's like, okay, so the headset isn't working, but the cable works, the sensors work, and the controllers work, or one of the controllers doesn't work, but the rest is okay. So that would be the advantage of keeping that. And the DK2 is an awful lot more portable, so it would be much more likely to be able to fit into a box with a PC, but that's still an issue. But I think that potentially like puts a better market on for a budget gaming system. If it's like, hey, not only do I say it's VR capable, I'll even ship it to you with one, and put the 1 minute video will include it working or whatever. We'll see. I am glad to know that all of the RAM works. I can now review those on eBay. I should just have a little check. F7 advanced. F7 to advanced mode. I want to see if this memory... Does this BIOS show the memory timings? Oh, DRAM timing control. Yeah, it's standard. Need to double check that against the listing. For some reason I've got it in my head, but I'm just not sure that this might have been listed as Cas 9. Oh, I have eBay notifications. Sorry, I'm not gonna. Normally I would share my. Wait, that's fine. It's fine. There's nothing. No, it'll have other sellers' information on it. So I'm not gonna share my screen while I'm looking at eBay. Purchase history. No, not what I need. Let's go with summary. There'll be things that need feedback. It should have a list for it, but it looks like that's not available on my drop-down area. Awaiting feedback. Oh, you're kidding me. Fine, I do have to go to bloody purchase history then. It won't let me link. Like, showing what I've purchased for feedback doesn't let me look at the original listing. Yeah, no, that's why my brain was telling me that I was just completely making it up. I'm not sure that those were meant to be clock latency 9. Sure that I know that I've looked at them, but why am I thinking that? No, they're not listed as that on the thing, so they're all good. They're all fine. I know that they can have feedback left for them now, but I won't do that. I will power down and test the CPU. We're also not keeping this RAM in here because it's just, got heat sinks on it. So I'll put those ones. I don't know. For the moment, they're probably destined for the Gigabyte board that has PCIe 3. This one only has PCIe 2. So it's going to get the slightly lower quality stuff. Mind you, it's actually like identical quality. Speed and functionality wise, it just doesn't have like a pair of cheap metal clip-on heatsink. Yeah, I had seen like a Reddit post of somebody saying that their normal VR didn't work very well for sitting things. I've had dead RAM. I've never broken one, but I have crushed the core on a CPU before. Yeah, my own personal system. It ran hot, and I had like a high power 64 cubic feet a minute fan, but the damn thing was so freaking noisy. I delidded it, and I did get it like working. It was fine initially, but then I had to do something and change it out. And this was old school. It was like an AMD K63. No, I think it was an AMD K62 500, if I remember rightly. That one. And delidded it. Worked fine the first time, but then had to work in the case, had to take out the fan, and when refitting the fan, there was like a little noise, and it was like, oh shoot. It's just that drop feeling in your stomach. And then the boot with the no boot. Oh no, what have I done? Oh well. I've had RAM that didn't work. Funnily enough, never secondhand. I've only had new RAM that just wasn't working on arrival. What have I had? I've had more problems with RAM ordered from CEX. Like, ordered 8 gigs of RAM from CEX. They sent me 4. So I had to take it in, and then they have to test it, and it's like, well, I mean, it works. It's just not what I ordered. So I suppose... So it's more dependent with, like, if you configure your Quest while you're stood up, then it's going to freak out when you sit down. But if you position your sensors for... So it's basically like, if you're going to play some seated games, you should probably position your sensors so they have a good view of you in your seat, and then run through the configuration again while you're seated. That would make sense. That gives me a potential reason to keep the... Well, I mean, I'll test it anyway, but like the full-on CV1, I wouldn't mind. I don't have a particular desire to play an awful lot of the VR games. They look pretty awkward to me. It's like, I think there should be more games that use a VR headset with head tracking and a controller, or in the case of Elite, joysticks, and that is plural. I have a 2 joystick thing, so I think that'll work quite nicely. It's stupid. Now, Elite Dangerous cost me $4.99, and then I recently bought the expansion for like £6 or something. They're both on massive sale, so I've spent like £11 on the actual game, and well, one of the joysticks I picked up at a charity shop for £2.50, so £27.50 on controllers for it, and then potentially £60 on a VR headset for it. So it's like spend like £80 on hardware on a game that cost you £11. Yeah, and I stopped playing it for a combination of reasons. I decided it was that if I was going to play it, I'd made a bunch of money. It was a good chill out session to just go out and do asteroid core mining. Then I ended up with like over $1 million. I got Elite just from having the amount of money from just core mining. But spend 2 hours. I never bothered going for an Anaconda. I was like, okay, so the Python like definitely holds enough general stuff, and I can go out for a 2.5 hour core mining session, mining rocks before I have to worry about having filled up my cargo hold. So if I get an Anaconda, I could spend a whole 6 hours mining. That's too much, a 2.5 hour mining session. That was plenty for me, and then just take it all back to station. That was like a good unwind, chill out. You maybe get a thing where someone shows up on your sensors, and you're like, okay, so we'll just like, which side of the asteroid belt are they on? If I just turbo through the asteroid belt and get out of here, then I'll be fine. But then I decided I wanted to get into combat, and I didn't have Odyssey yet, so I started looking into engineering, and then I was like, right, well, that was going to take a while. let me see if I can at least get my Crate Mark II. And it was like, no, you can't. Actually, you don't have the Odyssey expansion that you are required to have that ship. And it's like, that was kind of undocumented and pointless, because I'd made a bit of a build. And I thought this looks like it should be a good ship. I'll start with something later, but I do want to get it and just put it in the hangar and start fitting stuff on it. Yeah, it was fun, relaxing, and it was a really good practice. I kept giving up on it, but then I'd give it another go, and it was satisfying to try and turn flight assist off, and before you're doing it in combat, do your mining. Try and do your mining with your flight assist off, or even with flight assist on. You can have a lot of fun trying to maneuver around the asteroids while keeping your nose pointed to the asteroid, and just like on my second joystick, like up, down, left, and right are direct thrust, up, down, left, and right, and then I use like motorcycle accelerator twist for forward and backwards, so I can just set 0% thrust and then use direct control for thrusters in all the directions. So the right flight stick takes hold of your pitch, yaw, all the rotations, angular rotation, and then left stick does all the thrust, and it can be a little bit of adjustment trying to get used to, which I probably never quite did. But then engineering was going to be such a heavy grind, combined with the thing that really killed it for me was the updater was having an issue, and it wouldn't update my game. It would do the full download, and then it would get stuck on verifying, and I saw that it was an issue, and they're like, you can try clearing your cache and clearing your thing out, or even just wiping your files and re-downloading it, and I tried all that, but it just kept getting stuck, and I left it to update once, and it took 36 hours to verify the files, and it shouldn't. That should not be the case. And that was an issue. That was like at the beginning of the power crisis. So, like cost of living and the energy prices were ridiculous. So running my gaming PC for 8 hours, I checked, watched my smart meter. That costs like £2 in electricity. So leaving it to update for 36 hours, like literally, I've got a game that I paid a fiver for, and it's going to cost me £7 of electric to leave my gaming PC on while it verifies its files. No, I can't pay £6 every time you guys release an update. Sorry, deleted it. But it's been getting popular, and they've done some stuff. And I was like, they must have fixed the updater then. So far it seems to have gone okay, but I haven't really had much chance. Pardon me. I am slightly allergic to cats. I have 3 cats. Yeah. Hopefully I won't get that problem again. If I do, ridiculously frustrating, because I think I fancy playing some Elite. Oh no, it's going to do an update. Is it going to get stuck on verifying files? I'll go do some other stuff. You come back an hour later, it's still verifying files. Yeah, I kind of you've lost your playtime window now. We'll give it a little longer. End of the day, if it takes 36 hours, that's a no. You can't be like, I fancy playing the game. Oh no, they've done an update. I have to wait 2 days for my computer to verify that. But yeah, theoretically I can get back to it. CPU, that's where I was. So this currently has an i3-4130, which is like a dual core 3.4 turbos to 3.6 or something. But I managed to get a 4790S for 20. See how it goes. Bit cheaper than a normal 4790, but they're pretty much the same. It's like within a couple of percent slower, but designed to be low power and isn't really lower power. Let's see. Those 2 RAM sticks can stay out because they'll go in the gigabyte board. Oh, where's my coffee?
When my heart's heavy and my spirit's torn, in the quiet I find a place to be reborn.
Thank you for thermal mugs. Get distracted, forget about your drink for a while, and still have it warm.
But I'm anchored by your love. In the calm I rise above. In the quiet I'm alive. In the stillness I revive. With every breath I call your name. In the darkness you remain. In the quiet I'm alive. In your presence I survive. When I'm broken you're my light. In the silence you're my fight. Every moment I spend with you turns the darkness into truth. When the noise of the world fades away, in your arms I find my way. In the quiet I'm alive. In the stillness I revive. With every breath I call your name. In the darkness you remain. In the quiet I'm alive. In your presence I survive. When I'm broken you're my light. In the silence you're my fight. In the quiet
Too restrictive a distance on that cable.
in the silence I'm adored. When the night
Oh.
is deep and wide. With you Lord I confide. In the quiet in your grace I find solace and find my place.
If we can clean this thermal paste off. I was definitely very dried up as well.
In the shadow of the past, where the darkness falls,
I probably shouldn't be. Where's the wipes?
my spirit hits the walls. But the chains have been broken
If I've got some multi-surface wipes, probably should use those. Rather than just toilet tissue.
He's calling through the silence.
I mean, that'll get the job done, but you've got to constantly keep an eye out on whether or not it's tearing.
Igniting.
There are only bits of paper in there.
Now I'm standing on the ledge with my eyes on the sky. The dawn is rising. I'm learning to fly.
Antibacterial multi-surface wipes. Yeah, they're not exactly cloth. They're not exactly paper, but better integrity. And I'm not the CPU's mother or father. I should not be like spitting on some tissue to clean its face.
Where the demons used to roam, I've been calling out the future, reclaiming what's my own. Every step is a battle, every breath is a fight. But I'm marching to the rhythm of a newfound life.
Antihistamine insert. Not doing great today.
As the old world turns to ash, guiding every heartbeat through the pain.
It's weird, fine for hours, and then I don't know. Maybe it's
Now I'm forging my redemption.
maybe it's some dust.
In the crucible of change, with a vision of tomorrow that's burning in the flames. I'm walking this new path with the Lord on my side, breaking free from the shadows, leaving darkness behind. With the faith that I found and the strength to believe, I'm starting over in the light I'll bring.
Just see that CPU was so.
In the storms I stand.
Well, they had a good amount of paste on it. I think they had the right amount. It didn't look like they got quite full coverage, but it was thick enough that like flakes were coming off, and I didn't really want those sneaking off the side of the CPU. So even though cleaning the CPU a little bit more stable in the board, so that there's too much chance of like leaving little flakes of paste. Okay, so yeah, we've got a e-waste i3 4130. It's not quite bottom of the pile. That would, I mean, I've got one even worse one. It's a G something. Yeah, it's I might be 6'4", but I'm weak to pollen and cat hair. Suffer from allergies, and even if I take anti-allergies, still tend to end up getting a runny nose. Well, not nearly as bad when I don't own things that I'm allergic to, like cats, but I love them, so. Okay, and then thermal paste. I have ordered some Arctic MX4, which should be absolutely fine because I'm nearly out of the period appropriate Arctic Silver 2. This lasted me for way too long. That's probably ordered it 20 years ago, and it's still good, and it's okay for like this level of tech. It probably wouldn't be good on like AM5, and it would probably depend on what CPU you were using as to whether it would be good for AM4. I think that socket 1151 with DDR4, and if you went for like a hexa-core CPU or something, I wouldn't be comfortable. Like up to quad-core, I think I'd be comfortable with the Arctic Silver 2, but it's going to run out soon. Don't know how much is left. Don't do it yet. I'm not going to paste it this time because I just want to check if the CPU is working. And if I paste it first and then it's not, that's bad. Well, it's just a waste.
In this labyrinth of glory, I will find my way through dark. Take these fragments, shape my soul. In your hands I'll be made whole. God, can you see me as I'm kneeling in this night? Put the pieces back together. Guide me through this endless fight. In the chaos I am tethered to the hope I can't ignite. Lift me from the ashes, bring me back into the light. In the silence I'm going, through the void I find my plea. As the shadows start receding, let your light shine down on me. Down, you are still around. Every time I cry, you wipe my tears dry. In the dark of night, you become.
I'm not a fan of these stock Intel CPU coolers. It's just, they don't fit nicely. Yeah, I had options between Arctic MX6 and Arctic MX4, and I was like, I don't know. I went with, like, you know, apparently the MX4 is a lot easier to apply and to spread, and there's not a huge difference in CPU. So eventually I will plan on getting both. But I figure for, like, I'm starting with building 4th gen. That doesn't need anything like the sort of CPU temperature cooling that modern stuff does. So 4 should A, be absolutely fine for it, and B, a little bit easier to use, apparently. But undoubtedly better than Arctic Silver 2. And whatever this is, Stars 420 heatsink compounds. You know, this one, like the other one that I've got, came with a heatsink or something. Yeah, I'll probably get MX6 at some point, but I will reserve it for systems that are definitely not going to need an upgrade. Potential overclocking as well. So, like, if I did go for an 1150 board, if I had one that had PCI Express 3 and 4 DIMM slots, those are the ones that I think are potentially worthy of an i7-4790K. So if I was going to do something with an i7-4790K, then if I put like a decent heat pipe based heatsink on there, like a Thermal Assassin, and then put some Arctic Silver MX6 on there, then that would be worth it, because that is like the best type of board that you can get for 1150, the absolute best CPU that you can stick in an 1150, that can potentially be overclocked as well. So if the board can do it and you've got a good heat pipe modern cooler on there, and some MX6, then you know you can sell that system, best in class CPU, best in generation capabilities on the motherboard. You're not going to need to take it off for a long time, and you might want to overclock it, so maybe the temperature difference will be helpful. Yeah, that's something which I'll want to get probably eventually for like personal system, but for starting off I'm not going to have like bulk stock in everything. I hate these CPUs because I can't, like, you need to push those down or it's not going to apply any clamping pressure, but it just seems like they don't want to go in, and it feels like you're going to break the motherboard, and I just don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable.
Guided by the eternal flame, we rise above the pain. Through the smoke and the fire, we're never alone. With the pillars as our guide, we're always home. In the heat of the day, or the cold of the nights, we're driven by faith, and we're ready to fight. When the darkness wraps around us and the stars begin their shine, we are led by ancient embers, a beacon so divine. The night's embrace is daunting, yet our spirits burn with might. In the blaze of holy vision, we are warriors of the night. Through the darkness and the flames, we march to the unknown.
Yeah, not doing it properly. It's not pasted anyway. I'm 99.9% sure that I haven't got that secured right, but I'm only booting the post. Make sure that the CPU actually functions, and it should throttle if it needs to. It's only going to the BIOS, it probably won't need to. Oh, looking promising.
In the realm where shadows grow, we embrace the holy flame. Through the tempest and the sorrow, our faith remains untamed. Through the night and the day, we are
That's weird. New CPU installed. Press F1 to enter BIOS. Every other time, it's like it's not configured anything to boot for, so it's just gone straight into BIOS. So it's popping up a message to say that it needs to go into BIOS. The only thing that it's stopping itself from doing is actually going into the BIOS for you. But yeah, okay, cool. CPU is also fine. Happy days. What else have I got that I need to test? I think it's just the oculi. I'll get my purchase history up. Oh, motherboard. I need to test that other motherboard, but that one needs 8-pin board power because Gigabyte provide high power over voltage fast charging ports. Presumably that's why, anyway. Yeah, no, that's everything that I've had delivered from eBay. Tested and working. And also the memory from AliExpress. I can review that as well. Yeah, I will turn that off there, because even just sitting in BIOS is 55, 56 degrees. Not in any danger. I mean, like the safe limit on those is like 100 degrees C. Yeah, I'm aware that 55, 56 degrees C on an idle in the BIOS is warmer than it should be. Yeah, as now that's CPU's permanent home.
I'm reborn in your name. I'm lost in the fire. In the waters of redemption, I rise higher.
Well then.
Your name, I'm a new creation. In the depths of the water, I find salvation.
What to do next? Rare. I don't know. I've not got too much time before I've got to go in for my universal credit identification appointment. About an hour before I need to head in for that, which isn't loads of time. I'll probably do my reviews and stuff, and also need to review this format for what actually streaming from cameras with top-down view looks like when we set that up. So 5 Whiffer or Swiffer, I don't know. Thanks for chatting. Hopefully see you again and be back on at some point soonish. I will alternate between gaming and teching. Bye bye for now. Have a good one.